To talk to tomatoes. If a squash can make you smile. If you like to waltz with potatoes, up and down the produce aisle. Excuse me. Have we got a show for you? Veggietales, 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 Veggietales. Broccoli, celery, gotta be Veggietales. There's never a show like Veggietales. There's never a show like Veggietales. It's time for Veggietales.
Dave and the Giant Pickle is another fantastic episode from Veggietales. This episode has got to be one of the simplest episodes to come from this show, while also being the funniest as well. And you know what? That's totally fine with me, since I really enjoyed this episode for how simple it is, and I can see why it became so iconic after all these years. Well, not at first, since I wasn't the biggest fan on this episode back then, but nowadays it has grown on me in recent years, since it does a really good job on adapting another Bible story while also adding everything we love in a Veggietales episode, that being adding that Veggietales humor we know and love, while also introducing us to some brand new characters and also having fantastic songs. It's still very impressive on how Big Idea was able to make an episode so simple, yet it became one of the most fan favorite episodes amongst the Veggietales community. For me, I do agree it is a really good episode from Veggietales, and I do have it in my top 10, but however, I don't think this is better than the previous episode that came before it, but it does come pretty close. So let's not waste no time and discuss how Dave and the Giant Pickle became so simple, yet iconic. So without further ado,
It's showtime!
So what are the key elements that makes Dave and the Giant Pickle such a simple episode, yet an iconic one? Well, a lot actually. For one, it does a really good job on adapting the story in a simple way, without feeling so ambitious on telling the story, which I really like Veggietales' take on the story of David and Goliath. It does a really good job on telling the story in a simple way, while also being very faithful to the biblical account, which it does a good job on doing all of that, while also not feeling so ambitious on telling the story, like what Rashak and Benny did with the Chocolate Factory. I mean, sure, not everything in this episode is faithful to the biblical account. Like, for one, why is there fallen sheep and pizza? Like, that was weird to add to the story, but at least there were fun bits. Also, another thing that is great about this episode is the humor. Now, I know that I praised Veggietales' humor in the past, but David the Giant Pickle's humor is the main reason why this episode is so iconic, because, oh my gosh, this episode is funny as heck. Like, this has got to be one of the funniest episodes from Veggietales. It's not the all-time funniest, since Josh and the Big Wall already took that title, but it's definitely one of the funniest. It made me laugh a ton on my most recent rewatch, more so than the previous installments. There are so many good jokes in this episode, and most of them, if not all of them, got a laugh out of me. Also, the characters in this episode are great as well. I still like how our OG characters are playing the characters from the biblical story, and once again, they were casted pretty well in their roles, especially Junior as David, who did a fantastic job, by the way, and I even like the new characters as well, like the French Peas to Goliath, and of course our favorite veggie hero.
I am that hero! They call me Larry Boy!
I love Larry Boy in this episode. He is easily the standout for me. He made an awesome first appearance. Yes, if you guys didn't know, this is Larry Boy's first appearance in an episode. So I guess this is technically the first Larry Boy episode. And if we're gonna judge it based on that, then this is my favorite Larry Boy episode. Since I like how Larry Boy starts off as a superhero who didn't know what he was doing at the time. And him failing at his job is pretty funny. Also, most of the songs in this episode are great as well. Once again, we're still in the era where most of the Veggietales songs are consistently good, and with this episode is no exception. I mean, it is a shame that this episode only has 2 songs compared to the previous installment that had more songs compared to 2. But the songs that we got are absolute bangers. Like here, give them a listen.
If my lips ever left my mouth, packed a bag and headed south, that'd be too bad. I'd be so sad.
I see, that'd be too bad. You'd be so sad.
That'd be too bad.
Alrighty.
He's big, but that's bigger. I wanna think of him, that's one a figure.
With his help, little guys can do big things.
With his help, I know I can do big things.
With his help, little guys can do big things too. Alright, if you're sure you know what you're getting into. Oh dear.
Also, the animation in this episode is honestly a huge improvement over the first 4 episodes. I don't know if that's a hot take on what I said, but I just think this episode has the most polished animation compared to the first 4, because the characters and background design look more clean, and the animation frame rate runs more smoothly than Ratchet and Benny. Also, the lesson about self-esteem was really well taught in this episode, since I feel like this is a good lesson for people who have disabilities, because there's gonna be that one person to tell you that you can't do that certain thing because of your disability. But this episode tells us that you can do big things with your disabilities. Not like defeating a giant pickle or anything like that, no. But like other big things, like becoming a doctor or a lawyer or anything like that. You can do those big things with God's help, even with your disabilities. And I feel like this episode does a really good job on teaching that lesson. Also, the battle between David and Goliath has got to be one of the funniest scenes in the episode. I like how they added their own creative spin on the battle by making the battle between David and Goliath into a boxing match, which I find this to be a very fun and creative way to retell the battle between David and Goliath. Also, Goliath getting bonked on the head with a stone, that is absolutely hysterical. So yeah, Dave and the Giant Pickle is another great episode from Veggietales. It's an episode that will make you laugh and cry and so much more. For not only doing a great job on adapting the story of David and Goliath in a simple way, while also being very faithful to the biblical account as well, but also being a hilarious episode to the show. And honestly, I couldn't find anything to nitpick with this episode, since there wasn't really anything to nitpick about. Maybe the verse could have been better than Matthew 19:26, but other than that, this is easily one of the most flawless episodes from the series that I highly recommend if you want to watch a good adaptation of David and Goliath. Anyway, my rating for this episode is another 5 out of 5 stars. Another masterpiece episode from Veggietales that many people will still have a fun time with this episode from years to come. Stay tuned on Why I Love Veggietales as we check out Veggietales' first Christmas episode, The Toy That Saved Christmas, which is another episode that I'm hyped to check out, but also a bit weirded out as well. But anyway, I'm out of time for today. Always remember, guys, God made you special, and He loves you very much. So until the next review, see you later, gamers!